Welcome to this hobby of horrors. I want to talk vatches with you. Could you imagine sitting through 15 to 20 minutes of that? Yeah, my Dracula accent, not too great. But, in the spirit of the season, I wanted to do a Halloween horror episode. My top 10 most awful, horrible, horological horrors. Gosh, spit that out 10 times fast. And we're going to dive into it. Number 10. I put out a call to the Instagram scene and my watch buddies. And way too many of y'all came back with Invictas. And I get it, but it's like you didn't watch my episode, the Invicta Challenge. Way too many responses on Invicta. And yeah, some of these watches are pretty wild and out. But the last thing you could accuse them of is being unoriginal. These are near piece unique. First one, Purple Joker, sent in by Asian Timepieces. Yeah, purple and green, not sure about it. Although there's another one floating around from, can't remember the name. It's got a really unusual. I'll pop it up as well. I just can't remember their name. And gosh, yeah, I don't know about it. And this is actually probably the mildest of them. Next up, the Invicta Gladiator, sent in from Chris Negroni. If you've not checked out his channel, you got to check him out. I really enjoy his stuff, and I particularly enjoy the Negroni counter that he has. So Chris, hope you're doing well, and thanks for sending one in, bro. Appreciate you. Next up, this one's from Gary, and I got to be honest, I like this one. And no, it's way too big, it's way too ostentatious, but it's also reminiscent of the Breitling Copilot, in that it's got two little co-pilots down here. And admittedly, this photo is, I grabbed it from Invicta's website, and this one is actually more of a rendering, an artist rendering it. There's a beauty to it. Okay, it's obnoxious beauty, but gosh, if you gotta go big, I wouldn't say no to this one. Crazy. All right, next one up. Kurt, my good buddy Kurt, sent in this Invicta, the Skull Watch, which is certainly thematic for what we're doing today. And yeah, it's a little wilded out, but what are you going to do? But way too many people sent in Invicta watches. Y'all need to watch my Invicta Challenge episode. Then we had a few other, we're still in the number 10 range, but we're switching to number 9, because with number 9, we're going to get into some other horrible watches. My buddy Randy sent this one in. He owned this watch, a Sterling watch. I gotta say, it looks like a Beauvais, and I think he wrote that it just performed awfully. But if you like that Beauvais style and you don't have $100 grand, Sterling might be right up your alley. Chris, my buddy Chris, sent in this one, Tag Heuer two-tone from the 90s. I think this is the Model 4000 or something. Yeah, it's a hard one to love. I feel you. I feel you. Next up, and first of all, there are no Hublots on this list, and I don't know if that's because I didn't cast wide enough a net, or maybe people are warming up to Hublot. But there is no shortage of Ricardo Millet anti-love. Yeah, Lone Wolf McQuaid 81, one of my buddies on Instagram. You got to check him out. He's got some super cool Star Wars stuff on his Instagram feed. Yeah, this is the Stallone. I'm pretty sure this is a tourbillon. Tourbillon. I don't think I said that right. Kind of a cool looking watch, but I don't know, 1.5 million? I could find better ways to spend my money. Yeah, it almost reminds me a little bit of those sniper watches. Just a little bit. And lastly, in the wackadoo watch category, Melissa B put in the Cartier Crash Skeleton. Melissa B, I don't agree. I would totally wear this, but in rose gold, this is probably a $500,000 watch. I don't know, Melissa. You don't like it. I would love it. So we must be friends a ways apart, my dear. But thank you for turning in your submission. Okay, those were the wackadoo watches for this top 10 countdown. Number 8, eBay Authenticity Guarantee. fail. They've failed a couple times for me. Most recently, they had a major fail, so they're in the doghouse a little bit. They're not perfect, all right? They're not perfect. So just know what you're getting into and don't expect perfection. And always, always, always video record your unboxings. In that similar vein, having a bad watchmaker. There is nothing worse than having a bad watchmaker, which means there's nothing better than having a good watchmaker. Shout out to my main man Joe at SJR National Repair. Link in the description. If you have any watch service needs, take it to Joe. You will not be disappointed. Don't take it to a Yahoo. Take it to Joe at SJR. SJR is awesome. I've been ripped off by so many other watchmakers in my journey. Finding a watchmaker you can trust, that person is like finding a car mechanic you can trust. They are worth their weight in gold. Much thanks, Joe. Next up in horological horrors, watch winders. You do not need a watch winder. I repeat, you do not need a watch winder unless you've got an annual calendar or a perpetual calendar. Otherwise, you might as well have someone drive your car around for you when you're not using it either. People are in one of two camps. They either like them or they don't. It's hilariously binary. I do not. What you should do with your watches, once a month, if you got a big collection, you're not wearing them a lot, once a month, take them out of the bank, wind them up, run them through the complications, run them through the date wheel, run the chronograph, whatever it is, and you'll be fine. So, watch winders. Number 6. Next up, money. Spending too much money on a watch because you can't get your hands on it from the AD. Like paying over list. Horror. Horrifying, horrible. Now, if you've got DuckTales money, this part of the message is not for you. But if you're trying to get a Rolex or something, my goodness gracious. Don't pay double over list. I wouldn't even pay 1.5x over list. I can't bring myself to do it. It's horrifying. I can't I can't have any of the Rolex watches I want, either of those. So what's it going to be? It can go either way on this one. But no, just no. And in the Rolex vein, Rolex Explorer, 19 millimeter lugs. 19 millimeter lugs, not needed. 18 and this ridiculous taper on this bracelet, no. Just no, Rolex, no. All right, next up, number 3, the Seiko, the Seiko Shake. No. I only have one Seiko Shake watch, my beloved Spork diver watch. That's my Seiko diver. I didn't catch the wave for the SKX. I caught the wave of the Spork, and I love it. But I got to tell you, having to physically shake a watch to power it up and get it going, no, that is, considering how many innovations Seiko has brought to the watch world, the Seiko Shake, no. You're in the top 3 spot. Although I really like that logo work I did with the working in the Seiko. Number 2, bad pack jobs. If you're going to sell watches, then you need to deliver the watches in one piece. I remember a time I bought one of the Vertex Dirty Dozen watches from England, shipped to me in an envelope, and there was like no padding in it. Just picture an envelope, put in a 75-year-old watch, and hope it makes it there in one piece. It did not. When you're packing something for shipment, pretend like you're packing a baby, and just take the food, water, and oxygen out of the equation. Would it survive? The most important thing about packing something is taking up the negative space, protecting the watch crystal, wrapping it up, but you don't want any movement inside the box. So, my goodness gracious, pack it like you're shipping a baby and you'll be just fine. And the number 1 most horrible, horrifying horror of horology is YouTubers telling you that watches are not an investment. Heartbreaking. This is rhetoric coming from people who buy and sell watches for a living. They invest in watches every day, all day, 7 days a week. Watches are an investment. Now, they can be a good investment or a bad investment, a short-term investment or a long-term investment. And based along all of those lines, buy low, sell high. I treat my watch collection as an investment portfolio. As long as the price I pay is lower than market and I can always make that money back or more, it is a store of value. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to store that value for 10 years. It may not store it for 2 years. But if you buy well, and depending on what you want to do with it, do you want to wear it? Do you want to sell it on a little bit? If you buy well, you can sell well later. Watches are an investment class. Now, the blue chip brands are the ones that you can put away for years upon years. But if you buy a Rolex at 2.5 to 3x what someone can get it from an AD, guess what? That is not an investment price. That's a price to own and operate. You aren't going to get your money back. And I do not advocate for buying from an AD and flipping. There are people who are doing that. I don't begrudge them that, but I don't recommend that for the casual interloper. I do it with G-Shocks, do it with Seikos, do it with Omegas. You can't go in to an Omega dealer, buy something, Speedmaster, put it on the shelf and expect it to gain in value in 10 years. It's not going to, right? But if you buy something on the used market for less than what it can go for in the next 2 to 3 years, you've made an investment. Now, where you sell it, how you sell it, that all plays into the piece of the puzzle. But the reality is, you make your money when you buy the watch, not when you sell it. So please do not listen to folks who tell you these are not investments. They are. But there's a difference between a bad investment and a good investment. You could invest in vintage tablecloths. If you buy low and sell high, guess what? You made money. That's an investment. So want to put that out there for your consideration. And this has been your first top 10 countdown of horological horrors. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a little something, and that wherever you are in the world, that you're enjoying this hobby of ours, yours and mine. We will catch you in the next one. Be well, take care, and God bless. Peace.
Perfect.